Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going over some gifts you can get a cuber that knows how to solve a 3x3 cube. And if they're looking to branch out into other types of puzzles, you could offer this 12-sided puzzle called a Megaminx. It solves just like a 3x3 until you get to the very last layer. It would be a challenge for someone who only knows how to solve a 3x3. And there's this one that's shaped like a pyramid called a Pyraminx. This is also a pretty good puzzle that someone can get into if they're trying to puzzle solve. And they sell higher order ones for these, and they sell higher order cubes as well. But if they want to just stick to what they know and how to solve a 3x3, the remaining puzzles I'm going to show you can be done if you know how to solve a 3x3, if you don't want to branch off into other shaped puzzles. Let's get started. Now, most of the puzzles on this video are going to be what are called shape mods, and you'll notice that for each piece on the Rubik's Cube, there's a piece on the other puzzle that matches up with it. For example, the center matches up with this edge matches up with this edge, etc. This one here is called a mirror or bump cube. These are relatively cheap puzzles. So if you've noticed someone has been solving 3x3s or maybe has a 3x3 on their desk at work, this is a fantastic puzzle to get them. And maybe they've never done it before if they're just a casual hobbyist that can solve a 3x3. Another really easy puzzle that they should know how to solve is this one. It's called a windmill cube. And once again, for every piece on this puzzle, we'll have a piece that matches up on the 3x3. So if they can solve this, they can use the same moves to solve this once they wrap their head around it. We have the generic center here, but notice that this center right here would match up with this center right here, which is cut kind of at an angle. But once again, if they can solve this, they can solve this. So if you don't know that they have this puzzle or the other puzzles I'm going to show you, they will be able to solve them and have a little bit more fun. Nice, thoughtful gift. The next one we're going to bring over is called the Fisher Cube. The Fisher Cube is just like this one. Notice this one has a center right here, and the other centers are cut kind of at two 45-degree angles. This one's a little trickier than the other ones. There can be some troubleshooting that needs to happen when you do this puzzle, but at the end of the day, if you can solve this one, you can solve this one. Another nice, thoughtful gift for someone who can solve a 3x3. The next one we're going to pull over is called an axis cube. I'd say this is a tricky shape mod because the center on this one matches up with the center on this one. Whereas the edges, you have to turn it a bit. That edge right there matches up with this piece. That edge matches up with this piece right here. That edge matches up with this piece, and so forth. So once again, if you can solve this puzzle, you can definitely solve this one. Taking a little break from the shape mods, any cuber that can solve a 3x3 can definitely solve one side. And this is what's called a calendar cube. Sometimes it can only be sold by sticker, but if you find a site such as speedcubeshop.com or thecubicle.com, they will probably charge a little extra to put the stickers onto a cube for you. And they can change the date every single day, just a nice little routine. And I haven't run into any issues. I've been able to put every single day on this. Don't worry about the rest of it here. But once again, if you can solve one layer of a cube, you can definitely solve the calendar cube and get the date correct. So, another puzzle that doesn't look like a 3x3 and is very similar to the prior is called the Master Morphix. I believe it's called the Master Morphix, or maybe it's called the Mega Morphix. I really don't remember, but it's something Morphix. This center will match up with this, whereas this piece will match up with this edge piece here. So once again, if you can solve a 3x3, this is another fantastic, thoughtful puzzle you can get for your 3x3 Rubik's Cube friend. Or if you don't know anything about Rubik's Cubes at all, and they only know how to solve a 3x3, this is another great one you can throw at them, and they should be able to solve it once they wrap their heads around which piece matches up with which piece. Now there's two more puzzles that are combinations of ones I've already shown you. Combinations of the mirror, meaning we have thickness rather than color, and cuts that are different than normal cubes. This is what's called a windmill. I'm sorry, this is what's called a mirrored Fisher cube. Notice all of the shades are identical. It is cut like a Fisher cube, but all of the sizes are different. So you solve this one the same way as a Fisher cube, except you solve it by thickness rather than shade. And this right here is called a mirrored windmill cube. The same principle applies here. It's not solved by color, it's solved by shape and size. But once again, if someone can solve your generic 3x3 puzzle, the properties from this can be applied to all those puzzles right there. All those puzzles right there are relatively cheap. The next one I'm going to show you is a bit of a challenge for most people. It is what's called the Ghost Cube. This Ghost Cube is roughly $40. If you're not willing to spend $40 and you're willing to shell out about $20, you can get this brand called Morphix for about $40, and you can get this brand, I believe it's called Ninja, for $20. This is definitely not solved by color, it is solved by shape. But if you can solve a 3x3, the same algorithms will apply to this once you can wrap your head around which piece is which piece. That is a little difficult of a task, but just to give you a heads up on which piece is which piece, you need to line them up like this. And if you buy this puzzle for someone and show them this video, they should understand that this right here is a center, 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 and this right here is a center, and last but not least, sorry about that, this right here would be a center as well. So the Ghost Cube is probably the most difficult shape mod you can buy someone. So if you're really trying to frustrate them and they've never done a shape mod puzzle before, this would be the one to buy to frustrate them. But if they're looking for a challenge or they already have shape mods, this is a fantastic one, and it's a great showpiece for a desk to put next to a 3x3. The very last puzzle I should have put at the beginning of the video. This puzzle right here is a corner turning puzzle called a Scube. So back to the other ones at the beginning. There was the Pyraminx, the Scube, and this guy called a Megaminx. If they're looking to branch off into other puzzles, these are fantastic ones to get. And to leave some corner turners up here, this one is a puzzle by a company called Fusion, and it is what's called a pedal cube. This one right here is a version of the pedal cube by a company called Moyo. And notice this one is a 12-sided and this one is a 6-sided. These solve just like these ones, except they corner turn. So you'll notice that these pieces right here in the very middle can't move at all. I'm sorry, can't be moved out of these three positions, whereas the pieces that they hold can be moved wherever you feel like on the puzzle. So if they're looking to branch off into other puzzles, these are fantastic ones. If they're not looking to branch off into other puzzles, these shape mods are solved just like a 3x3. They are all fantastic gifts to get any cuber for the holidays. You can go to Speedcube Shop or thecubicle.com. I would highly suggest staying away from sites like eBay and Amazon when you go buy your cubes. Buy from those professional sites. And don't forget your cube lube. I prefer Cubicle Silk for all my puzzles because it is a silicone-based lube, and silicone will not eat plastic like oil will, and it will not rust metal like water does. Have a great day, guys. Happy shopping.